everything's going.
All right, welcome to another episode of Morelia Python Radio, episode 519.
Sweet.
And in this episode, it's just Owen and myself.
Cool.
That's all. the easy shows.
It's the ones that Nipper loves the most, and therefore we have to do at least twice a year. He gets very sad and mad at us.
Yes.
So, yeah.
He does. He's off herping somewhere. He's fine. I don't know. We got some topics to talk about, variety of things. I guess we should start with how the season is going so far. Have you seen action? It just snowed by you today?
It was snowing like
a lot of rain here.
All day today. And I'm like, quick, put the animals back in. And then the male rough scout just had a horrible shed. So I have to deal with him after we get done with the show so I can get him to, like, peel properly. And then he's going in with a female. It's like, I'm like,
nice.
Bastard, you're not where you're supposed to be. I didn't see any locks, but breeding season is kind of being a little weird right now. So we're in that weird hiatus where, like, the colubrids are still sleeping.
Right.
The pythons are kind of not really kind of doing anything. I may see a lock here and lock there, but it's like not meaningful just because of when you get eggs. So that's kind of going. They're still dropping at this point. So everything's kind of still up in the air. I did get my first 2023 gut punch. I lost my lavender albino Cali King. She just, yeah. That was she's my breeder female, so I noticed she was in the same spot for like a couple days, and I'm like, that's not good. And yeah, she was gone. Unsure what happened there, but like we said constantly, breeding season is nothing but gut wrenching lows followed by stellar highs, and you just hope you have more peaks than you do lows in a season. So
yeah, breeding season is always stressful. You're, stressing out the animals and all that kind of stuff.
And myself, yeah.
And yes, and yourself.
I was Mike Curtin sent me a heat panel because I needed one for a certain tortoise. Because if you have mats or something on the ground, the tortoises tend to rip the cords up and wander off with them. So yeah. So we decided to do a heat panel up in top of his little, cave. So I was in there last night on my back putting in a heat panel as a tortoise is ramming my hip because he's like, why are you in my home?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So that was today, or that was yesterday. So that's where we're going with the reptiles. We're full steam ahead into like February, March, where I'm like, I'm not getting any eggs. So yeah,
I still can't figure out whether how the reptile market is going to be. I mean, it's so hard to predict, right? Because we're months away from even seeing eggs on the ground.
That's the problem. Is that it takes so long to produce the animals that we're talking about. Like, we're trying to gauge the 2023 selling season when it starts in the middle of January, where the entire Northeast is like almost shut down from shipping. Like, nothing can go. So not a lot of people are putting animals up for sale. Like, I have a ton of animals that I'm going to get rid of. I'm not going through taking pictures, putting them up, and doing all that because I have to wait for shipping for months, maybe. Like, it's not bad for shipping right now, but in the next week or two, we're going to get down into the teens, and we're not going to get up to, I think the high next Friday is supposed to be 21, and the low is like 14. And I'm like, cool. I'm not selling animals to try to ship out when those are the temperatures. So that's part of it. The second part of it is that we have not even seen this year's stock of animals, like babies wise. So that's part of it. It's like, how do you gauge whether you should hold back animals, not breed animals based off of what's selling right now? It's kind of like, well, you also need to take into account a couple things. It's early in the season. People might still be recovering from money they spent on holiday stuff. people haven't gotten their tax returns yet. So there will be a couple bumps. And then as it warms up, you'll start getting the idea of just how well the reptile market is, because people will be looking to use that tax return and buy those reptiles and have them shipped out. And maybe things like shipping will go down, because right now shipping is insane cost. So I don't know. It's really going to take a bit to see how it goes.
It's really a lot.
I mean, I've it's definitely gone up in the last couple of years, and I hate to be that guy that's like, in my day, I could ship an animal to California for $70, but you could. Now it's like $100-something for it to go to California. Like I had somebody message me on my Morph Market because I put on one of my ads shipping between $50 and $1,000, and they're like, "Surely you don't mean $1,000 shipping?" And I'm like, what I mean is that it could be over $100. If you're going to try to get me to send an animal from Pennsylvania to California, I don't want you sit there going like, well, your ad said it would only be $100. When quoting it out, it's $120. Like, fucker, buying the animal is this cost. Now you own said animal. Now you must pay to get it to you. I am willing to box it and drop it off at FedEx for you. If you want to try to find some other means of getting here and getting it, cool. But I will not take a break on shipping. I can't.
Yeah.
That
right.
People are like, well, that's pretty steep for shipping. I don't care. If you think you could do better,
right,
buy the label, email it to me, and I'll throw it on the box. But I ain't guaranteeing live arrival because I don't know what the hell you did.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. So what do we have? Ship your reptiles.
Ship your reptiles. We have Reptile Express. We have Redline shipping.
Reptiles to Redline shipping and Reptiles to go.
You have so many different options.
Yeah.
And some companies do give breaks to people who do a lot of shipping. I am not a large breeding facility.
Not yet.
Not yet. Soon. Maybe soon.
You're pretty goddamn close.
Inch by inch, my son. Inch by inch, Rome was not built in a day.
Right. That's true. You bring up Morph Mark. Oh, go ahead.
But that's the thing where it's like, so I understand that some people out there may have credits or may have a better shipping thing. All right, well, send me a label. I'll slap it on the box. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
easy.
If you ask me to set up shipping, I will price out shipping. I will tell you the price, and that is what you will pay. I will not then say you can't come back at me and be like, oh, well, will you do this? No, I can't, because that's the price that they're going to charge me, and I'm not eating into what I've made off of this animal so that you can pay less on shipping. My favorite is when there are people in California and they're like, I see this really nice. That's why I don't list animals that are $100 or less anymore. Because people in California would be like, cool, is it $100 shipped? I'm like, so I'm paying you to take it? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I guess you would be, right?
I'm like, no. So any animal.
It's free.
By all means, let me pay you for the shipping. No. That's why any animal that I have, and that line is slowly creeping up. So like now, shipping out to the other end of the country is like 120, something like that. So now, is it even worth me to throw up an animal that's up for $150?
Probably not. I mean, I guess it depends on the animal, but at the same time, you're going to run into. So my feeling would be that a lot of those $150 reptiles are going to be what people are looking for as far as a pet.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong, but my thinking would be that's where that would be, because they don't need anything necessarily fancy or whatever.
Yeah, they're just looking for a coastal.
Right. You're going to run into having to ship, cost $100. So an animal that was 100 is now 200,
Right.
which still to me is still.
I've
for a
had
snake to be on the East Coast yesterday, be on the West Coast
the next
this
day.
morning.
Like I don't like it. It's what and I used to bitch when I first got into it when people were like, "I'm charging you a box fee because I build my own boxes and this is how much it costs to build the boxes." Like there were some breeders that had it like to the fucking penny. Where it's like, this is how much the snake is. This is how much for me to ship it. And then I'm throwing in this shipping cost because that counts for the box, the heat pad, and I guess like my freaking time. So.
Yeah, I guess like I never thought about, when you're selling reptiles and you're doing it as a business, I never really thought about, which is probably why I don't really sell reptiles anymore. But
why it doesn't really work for me. Yeah.
I never thought about the whole making a profit, right? I didn't look at it that way. Not because, this is what I do as my job, right? I run a retail grocery store.
It'd be really weird to come over to your place and see the clearance bin like out in front of your thing. Yeah. It's just like, here go the more snakes in there. Here you go.
BOGOs.
Yep.
Yeah. But I understand making a gross profit percentage. Right. I understand how a cost and then a retail on it and how you make money and running ads and all this stuff. I know all this stuff for retail. I know it. I do it. That's what I do.
Right.
And I think this was another reason why I wanted to get away from the idea of selling snakes, right? Because I'm dealing with people all day long in that capacity, trying to make them happy because, the cheese wasn't cut right. The milk was expiring the next day.
Nabisco changed their formula, and I hate this now. All right.
Why is there 3 less Triscuits in the box?
I don't know. Call Triscuit. Like, get the fuck out of my office. Like, I'd be very bad at your job. It's like,
So to do it, to come home and do it with the thing that I quote unquote is my stress reliever, my escape from reality.
You're released from work.
It's kind of not.
It's the same goddamn.
It's just like doing it all day long. So like. I never thought about it in terms of like, okay, I have to sell a snake for X amount because I put X amount of meals into. I don't know. It just takes the fun out of it for me, right? Do you think about that?
I can't because
you just put a price.
I just put a price. My brain can't work that way. Like I know there's some people who are like, for every month that goes by, I fed this animal this much, so that means it goes up this much in price. Yeah. And I don't think any of the people that we know can do that. They set the price, and that's it. What I loved is when I first got into it, people were like, "I love your animals. I'm waiting for the price to go down." I'm like, the price is only going to go up as it gets bigger. Like, I love how you're saying that. Like, I'm supposed to take it as a compliment. When the price is only going to go up, and like basically, if you're waiting for the morph itself to lose value enough for you to want to purchase it, we're talking like, okay, so I'll see you in 4 years. Bye, goodbye now. Yeah. Like I don't like, and that's it. Like there are some people that do these things that think I'm complimenting you as a breeder, when in actuality you're just pissing us off. Like it's the I love your animals. I don't have money. Thank you. I mean, thank you. Thank you for that. But you could easily just post that underneath like a picture of the animal that I posted. You don't need to send me an email on my website inquiring about the animal and then being like, well, I don't have money right now, but I'll talk to you in several months. Because I'm not going to keep up on this. I'm not going to follow up on this. I'm not going to remember who you are. Like, why not just hold off until you're ready?
I don't know, man.
People
it's
like, what is it? People are like,
I never contacted
jump on this Owen. It's like, because I have no money right now.
Right.
I did not bother this person because I cannot purchase this animal.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like why? So I just bought a puppy.
You did?
Right?
That happened.
And and I contacted. So it's the lady that I used to buy rodents from, right? And I stopped going there because it was when I worked at Mullica Hill, and Mullica Hill's about an hour and a half away from here, so it's like a 2-hour drive to there, and I'm just like, man, I got to find something local. Right. Then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start buying online and having them shipped and all that kind of stuff because it's too much to travel. You know, I didn't have time, all that stuff, blah blah blah. Anyway, I saw that she had it there, and like I contacted her. I said, okay, can you hold the puppy until my wife comes back from her cruise? Yeah. Okay. So I didn't contact them and be like, well, I only have $400.
It's not even that. It's the so
she has 15 people going, is this dog for sale? Right? You know what I mean? And like, what am I supposed to tell her, to hold it until X amount of time and then change my mind?
Here I am. Here is money. Can you hold on to it until my wife gets home? Done. It's not like you didn't not offer to pay. Like, it was like
right.
That's like what is the classic thing? Oh, I'm gonna walk around the show a couple times and I'll come back. Like, all right, but the second you walk away, if somebody else comes walking up here with money, they're taking it. Like, I don't.
Right.
That's the basic rule.
When you make a commitment like that, right? In my experience, that always goes wrong, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. So if you're saying that I'm going to, can you hold this animal, let's say 3 months, right?
Yeah.
Can you hold this animal for 3 months? You don't know what's happening in 3 months from now.
And I should have done it this year. I left a bunch of ads up on Morph Market, and I've been talking with a couple of people, and I did sell a couple snakes, and I got them out the door before it got really cold here a couple of weeks ago. But I'm going to go take down all my ads because I cannot ship, and I hate holding on to other people's animals in my collection. Like,
do you hold on to the money so if somebody sent you a deposit, or if somebody sent you, I don't know, say you have I don't know, all
right, so whatever, if somebody sent me a deposit,
something like that,
if somebody sent me a deposit, this is also why I don't do payment plans. You pay me half, and then you have 30 days to pay me the rest. Like, that is it.
No payment plans.
No payment plans. I don't want you buying $1,000 animal and offering to give me $100 a month for the next 10 months. No, go to hell. Like, it is. No, go borrow the $1,000 from somebody else. Like, I'm not doing this. Like,
but we're talking thousands rather than hundreds.
Right? Like, you know
what I mean. So,
but dude, I've had that. When I first started, it was kids and their moms who were like, "Oh, we will give you $50 for the next 3 weeks so we can get this $300 Jaguar."
So, in fairness, right? When I was doing it and I was putting together my collection, I would, for people that don't know, back in the day, I used to have a book. And in the book, I had all of my projects mapped out, what I wanted, what I needed.
Where is it?
yes. Where is it?
Burned in the backyard when you gave up on printing.
I have a new one. Yeah. Screw you, you book. You've done me no good.
No, stupid.
You brought me nothing but
pages out. Yeah.
Why have you forsaken me?
He looks upset. I don't know what's going on over there.
Well, I don't know, man. I keep saying it, but for me, selling snakes just took the joy out of it.
But differences between several things,
right?
Right. Like, if you or another friend of mine is like, I want this snake, I'm sending it to you immediately because now it's yours. You have it, and you're going to pay me later. I don't really give a shit.
Yes.
Like, it's
100%.
Then if you kill it, it doesn't matter. You still owe me money.
Yes. Yeah. And to be honest, a lot of my deals with when I was buying snakes like that, I was either for the morph stuff, I was getting a lot of that stuff from Paul.
Right.
Well, actually, I was getting all that stuff from Paul, right? Except for local stuff like tigers from Jason, or I'm trying
diamonds
to think what else. Whatever, reduced pattern diamonds locally, all that stuff that Nick didn't necessarily have, or Paul didn't have.
Yep.
But for the most part, most of my like I didn't get any IJs from him because he really didn't. He wasn't, which surprised me. I mean, now he's doing it more, but back then he really wasn't doing it at all. And I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Like, like you're the freaking carpet python guy. You're not. I don't understand
ignoring parts of it. Yeah.
And I think he's like, I think you're right. What am I doing? You know, and like, you know, started amassing a nice group of popcorn carpets. But anyway, I guess my point is that by the time that I would have it paid off, the shipment would be coming in. If I didn't have it paid off, it would sort of hang at Nick's place until I paid it off to Paul.
Right.
But like after like the first time, and like, because Paul didn't know me.
Right,
He didn't know anything about me, you know. He didn't know if I was going to send him. But like once a month, I had to send him $1,000. Here's $1,000. Here, $1,000. It was like paying a bill, man. It was like it just automatically went. And I thought about it, and I guess from the aspect of a breeder, if you can get somebody that's reliable like that, that's kind of a good gig, right? Because you have a steady, like I seem to think that like if I was a snake if I was doing both breeding snakes and my daytime job, if all of a sudden I got $10,000, I don't know, man. I'm either going to buy another snake with it, buy equipment with it, or I'm going to, you know, I don't know. I just don't know if it would stay in my hands and be responsible the way it is, because it's almost like I would look at it as it's like free money, I guess. You know what I mean? Like,
I
know it's not free money, but like, because I have a daytime job that's paying my bills, this is just like, you know, this is just extra on top.
So, and that's what I've kind of got to, like, where selling the snakes feeds the snakes. And then some snake sales will lead to other things that end up being like either new equipment or like my fancy new bookshelf
like
back here. Like it's So, but I find that as long as I have, like, the snakes themselves, have now become their own form of a commodity for. I don't necessarily need to sell them. Like, I've traded animals to several people this past year. I did when I bought my ring python, the big female. Half of it was cash, the other half was babies. The only reason I didn't hit the ground like crazy trying to sell a bunch of shit this year out of the pythons is I sold out all my colubrid stuff wholesale and all this other stuff. So I'm able to kind of take it slow with that. I traded a couple carpet pythons for a female mandarin rat snake. So in a couple years, now that completes that project. In a couple years, I'll be able to produce mandarin rat snakes, and that will add to stuff that I can sell. I'm lining up olive pythons for these, like, so there's these really cool California king snakes. They're white with the normal, like, California king snake head pattern, and then they have very big, broad black stripes going all the way down them. Like somebody took a paintbrush and just went.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. I'm like, these things are awesome. Yeah. And the one guy that I deal with has brought this one pair to like the past couple shows. They're juveniles, and he wants like $900 for the pair. But he is obsessed with olive pythons. He wants them for the shows. He wants them for his pet store. And I'm like, well, I got olives. You got those. And then now I have a new colubrid project.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like what I was saying too is like
I got a new caramel carpet this past year. Caramel stripe, M-Pen caramel stripe male that we're waiting for it to warm up and then he can come here because I traded olive pythons to somebody else.
Oh, nice.
So that like once you start getting baby snakes, man, that's a commodity.
Reptile trading is the best.
I love it.
To me, I love it.
And you know what? I would rather take a hit on a reptile trade than take a hit like offering cash. Like it's just like, would you take this much money for this animal? No. Well, what if I traded you this animal and they're kind of worth it, but all like they're kind of equal, but not? Yes, cool. If I don't have to dig out cash, done.
Yeah. So but what I was saying is like I think that like is if I had somebody if I was in that position and I had somebody that I knew that was going to be reliable with their payments and stuff, doing a payment plan of breaking down, not getting that $10,000 at once, but then, getting that $1,000 where it's steady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Steady 10 months of $1,000 is gonna be nice.
That
you know
isn't
what I mean?
bad. It isn't bad. But like to break down those payments for like $150 snake, like no.
Come on.
No.
If you can't pay for, I mean, maybe I sound like an asshole when I say this, but if you can't pay for a $150 snake just flat out, then you maybe shouldn't get the reptile because you might not be able to afford the equipment or the food, especially now with the food being more expensive than it's ever been.
You're 100% because it's like I remember when I had the Dominican boas, they were $100 each. And somebody literally haggled me for an hour down to $90, and then he gave me a $100 bill.
I remember you telling that story.
And I literally looked at the dude and I'm like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "Oh, dude, I got to go buy food for it. I don't have any more money." I'm like, "This is all the money you have, and you just spent it on that boa."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't. I should. I feel bad like saying that. Like, if somebody spends $150 because I think about like when I think when I started working in the supermarket, I made $6 an hour.
Listen.
But anyway. Yeah. So if I'm making $6 an hour, I don't have money to go out and spend on.
But if you're making
$6
an hour, you're like,
which is why I didn't have snakes.
Exactly. You're not sitting to go, now's my time to buy a $5,000 animal. No.
Right.
Jesus.
Yeah.
The problem is, and it's something that there's a huge problem in the reptile community, is that no thought is given to after purchase. After the whole thing is getting the animal for this much money. Nobody thinks about what then that animal costs to keep, maintain properly.
Right.
Because eventually, and I will say that is something you definitely need to consider when you're fairly new and you don't have that much room. Like it used to be like I would buy a snake in Hamburg and then on the way home I'd have to stop at Target to buy a brand new sweater box bin to keep it in and all this other crap. It's like, and then eventually I started getting racks and cages and all this other stuff where it was not necessarily something that it's something that I would be able to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you saw the picture I just sent you, right? So you're talking about Morph Market. So I went on Morph Market right now as you were talking, and I'm just looking around, and I've never heard of this. I've heard of this.
Acquired this girl as a sibling to a patternless male, pure bredli, non-hybrid, from Reef and Reptile. From what I've seen, they have been proven out patternless
as a gene. But he believes it's simple recessive. Is there such a thing in the U.S.?
Patternless bredli?
I know that there is patternless bredli, but I didn't know that they were in the U.S.
How much is he asking?
$400.
No.
And it's a female.
No.
No what?
No. Just no.
It's not true.
Just no, none of it. Like that can't be. No. You don't have a patternless het animal to on a Morelia that there is no patternless in the United States without knowing that.
Well, this is a little odd. I go to the next page and the same guy, I'm assuming, and he has a super zebra for sale for $1,250.
Does he label it super
Maybe he's
zebra?
Confused. Yeah. That's odd.
I don't understand that because, like, let's say it's legit. Let's say it's a het patternless bredli, female, and you have the pictures and the source, and everything to back up that this thing is a het patternless bredli.
Right.
Number one, we are hearing this not from Nick Mutton or any of the large carpet breeders in the country who would,
especially bredli,
right, who would track down the person who hatched out a patternless bredli by the entire clutch and the parents. Why? Because that's what he did with the Stonewash. Like,
right.
So then now you have a female that is 100% het.
Yeah.
And you're only selling it for $400.
Yeah. Seems weird, right?
There would be I'd have a lot of questions. Now, if this dude is legit and he just wants to sell that animal for $400, I think he's cutting himself very short. But I would have so many questions. I'd want to see everything. And then, you know what? If you send me pictures of a patternless bredli in Australia, we're going to have a problem.
Well, yeah, I think that so I know of two of them.
Right.
And I thought that they were both in Australia, but I could be wrong. But I've never heard anybody.
I've never heard of anything. Again, like we could just not be in the know, and this could be 100% legit. To which I say you're asking only $400 for a het patternless bredli. Yeah,
boy, time hasn't really done super zebras justice, huh?
No. Nobody. I don't know why.
So that's what I was going to talk about. Dead morphs, right? Yeah. So we'll start with the super zebra. Okay. Do you think that the dream of having this patternless neon yellow snake is gone?
No, because I think all the building blocks are there. I just think it's going to take more time, and nobody wants to do it.
I think that it's going to be next to impossible to ever achieve, because I think when you get the patternless, I almost feel like it kind of like combines the black and yellow
everything just
together.
mixes like a pot of paint.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like, I guess in theory, if you had like Sean Carroll's like super reduced jungles, the guy in Australia that it's like neon, like we would kill to have jungles like this.
If you took Mike Curtin's zebras, like we're talking Mike Curtin,
yes,
bright
holy shit,
yellow,
beautiful,
wow line,
amazing,
disgustingly yellow zebras, and you took two of them and you bred them together.
Has he produced super zebras at all?
I don't think Mike? He has any. I can bug him. He was asking me to talk him out of buying a jungle carpet today, and I told him to do it. And he said that I was talking him out of it wrong. And I said, you're right. Wait 5 minutes and then do it. So
damn,
he stopped responding
friends
to my
like
text
you.
messages. So
yeah. Holy crap.
But, dude, I got to tell you about this one thing he showed me. So we're at he's setting up at the Oak Show. He came by, he drove up with his kids, and he set up a table at the Oak Show.
Okay.
And he busts out his acrylics, his little tiered acrylics that we all have. He busted out these heat mats that are cut the perfect length and width of the acrylic tier.
Really?
Yeah. And they're seedling heat mats. You put them under seedling plants.
Oh.
And it fit perfectly. And I'm like, holy shit.
wow.
And he had like 6 of them, and he put them underneath each tier. Each tier got their own distributed heat, and it didn't need a thermostat because all it did was get it up to like 80 something degrees, and everything was fine.
Wow. So no more like we used to run the heat cords underneath.
No more heat cable. No more looking like some
heat
crazy
cables
like
and all that
wires
stuff.
and shit. I bought
behind the table. It's all a mess.
No,
Everybody's tripping.
I have one for each one of my acrylic tiers. I am set.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm like, where the hell is this? He goes, it's a seedling heat mat. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ!
Why are you keeping these secrets to yourself?
That's the problem. That's the thing, is half the show shit. You get new ideas or you get new products when you go to shows. Like my lights,
I do miss that.
Dude,
yes,
like
yes.
My lights that I have at my table, I stole from Matt Minatola. Matt Minatola showed us his lights, and I'm like, I need these. Like it is, and that's what you do. You kind of learn as you go.
I'm such an idiot. Yeah. I'm sitting here. You just said that, right? And I'm sitting here like I need to buy a lamp for my table.
You have the fucking
for my desk, and I'm like, wait a minute, I have those same lamps. Idiot.
If only I had a lamp that clamped to a table. What?
What an idiot. Okay, sorry.
But
I do miss that though. Yeah, I did. Matt used to get me excited for that, right? Because he was so into his every
display.
little detail of his displays and his setups and his in and out, and I liked how he did it. I do miss that.
So, but then there's all right. So backtracking.
Okay.
If anybody was going to produce a very, very nice high yellow super zebra, I think you have to have two of the highest yellow, minimal black zebras to go into it. And even then, I think it's going to disappoint you.
So here's the other part of it. I don't know. Have you tried to produce super zebras at all?
I had a chance. Was
the eggs went bad?
No, I bred the. What the hell was it? I produced that weird red zebra thing. I bred the zebra jaguar. No, I didn't have a chance to do. I didn't have a chance to do zebra jags.
Super zebra.
But I had it.
Right.
I didn't have a chance to do supers, but I did have a chance to do zebra jags. And I bred the zebra jaguar that you produced to one of my jungle females, and I got one zebra, everything else mutt. There was no jag, there was no
right.
I think I got some jags, but I didn't get any zebra jags. I got one zebra, two jaguars, and 2 mutts. And it's I wanted a zebra jag. Nope. So
I think for me, well, number one, I don't know if it can be done. I don't want to never say never, but my experience with producing anything super zebras was that a lot of the clutch
died,
ends up dropping, right? I think that's why you don't really see super granite zebras or super albino. I mean, albino super zebras. Remember how long it took to produce those? I remember Paul had trouble with eggs going. Nick had trouble with eggs going bad. I had trouble with them going bad. I know Ollie did. All the people that were breeding high end carpet python moors were having issues. And when you're not getting, the result that we're really looking for is, who wants a brown. It's like a patternless IJ. Who wants a patternless IJ? You know what I mean? I mean, the whole point of carpets is the pattern. You know what I mean? And the contrast between the colors within the pattern. So when you're taking it away, it either has to be, crazy or,
Now, could you... I'm trying to think, if you took a super zebra and bred it to a really nice colored zebra, is it just that we never went further to refine it?
It's possible. I'm trying to think. I know that there was somebody that had a... Jason
had a nice super zebra for a while. I'm not sure what he did with it. But it had he had a nice super zebra and actually had its tail didn't get kinked. So it had a nice complete tail too.
So I know that I'm going to send you this picture. So striking pythons.
Yeah.
I want to say they're in the UK maybe.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's the nicest one I've seen.
I think it's UK because the UK has that kind of stuff. The bedding. It's out of focus a little bit. That sucks, but yeah, it's a nice one. It is. It's really nice. Yeah.
But even that, see how it has so what we're looking at
is the bright yellow near the head, and then it kind of gets a little bit darker yellow, and where it's resting near its tail, it's kind of like mustardy kind of yellow, dark yellow, and it's got
a mustard chondro.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's some darker. I mean, you can see the scale separation, so that doesn't help. But
so this was a second generation super zebra from German bloodline.
Okay,
so German bloodline is
is awesome.
That's potent shit. Yeah. and that's the result you get. Now, maybe you can keep refining that, but I noticed that like it seems like something about when you're producing them that the head stays. You see in this other picture when it was younger. See how the head stays dark.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's
the absent. Like it's trying to still have a head stamp, but it can't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's the only down, like I don't see anything wrong with that or any kind of downside. And I think maybe with refinement, you will eventually get there. I think everybody bails on it too quickly. You know, do you
think that the tail issue?
I think the tail issue was number one, scared a lot of people off. Tons of people didn't want to deal with the tails, or they got flack for docking the tails.
Or I think also they also had the issue of, I'm going to look in the Carpet Python Morph book real quick as we're talking. The eggs going bad.
Yeah.
I think we're a problem too, because it kind of sucks if you put all that work into a project.
Dude, that's why
just having eggs drop.
That's why I'll never do Jag to Jag. Why am I going to make my mother like carry and produce those eggs knowing that half of them are just going to end up dead? No point.
Yeah. Trying to see.
There are plenty of other breedings I can do to avoid that.
Yeah. Yeah. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I guess that would be my other question. What about Jag? Do you see? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think
does that seem to still be a thing? Some people do it. It seems like to me that they've sort of like, I don't see them as much.
I would agree. Jags almost seem like an afterthought. If you're producing Jaguars, it's something Jaguar. It's an albino Jaguar. It's a caramel Jaguar. It's an Exanic Jaguar. It's a caramel Exanic Jaguar. It's a hypo-caramel Exanic Jaguar Tiger. It's all that stuff. That's what you're chasing.
Yeah.
Jaguars, normal Jaguars, are just now like an afterthought. They just pop up. You know, they appear in the clutch. Nobody's trying to refine a Jaguar anymore.
Right.
Because I think they believe we're at the point where you can't. I would say that is not true. I would say that you could probably go through Jaguars and refine it in a certain way. Now, can you take a base model Jaguar and refine it? It's kind of hard. Like, there's really not a lot you can really do with that right now. Like, you know, there's
right.
Could you take an Exanic Jaguar and refine that? Hell yes. Could you take jungle Jaguars and refine those still? I mean, I'm pretty sure they're at where they're at, but maybe you can reduce the pattern. Maybe you can change it a little bit. Maybe you can throw some striped jungle in there and see what that does.
Right.
I've been refining super caramel Jaguars. Like, that's still one of my things.
Yep. Okay, so you're still doing Jags, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, add caramel to it, but yeah, I have caramel Jaguars. I have super caramel Jaguars.
Well, yeah. Okay. Do people inquire still about them?
About
or
normal Jaguars? No.
Even caramels?
Caramel Jaguars? Yeah.
Yeah.
People look for caramel Jaguars. Mostly they want it because either they like the color pattern. They're starting their own caramel project.
I mean, they're fucking beautiful snakes, man. You just don't lie about it.
So it's either that or they're starting their own caramel project, or they want to try to do a caramel Exanic project. It's one of those things that they will inquire, and the problem is that with Jaguar and with caramel Jaguar, every animal looks completely different. Like I have ones downstairs that are like have very little pattern, lots of gold on it. That one holdback that I showed you the last time you were here, and then I have ones that have some heavy, bold saddles, but have these great back colors and all this other stuff. Like it's hard to tell sometimes.
Right.
But yeah, depending on the breeding, I'll get a Jag every once in a while. It's just a normal Jag.
And what do you
either wholesale it out?
Eventually, it sells.
I either wholesale it out or sell it at a show if I could do shows. But yeah,
I know. I don't think Nick really does Jags that much anymore. I know I don't.
Yep.
But I don't know. Does Balin still do Jags?
Balin still does Jaguars.
He does? Okay.
It depends. I mean, certain people have drawn the line of not wanting to deal with Jags. Other people do.
Would be me.
I mean, in my thing, I've got so many different Jaguars all into my caramel stuff. Like the last couple, was it 2 years ago, I held back a super caramel female because I realized that I was going to run out of things to breed my Jags to. And I wanted to start refining caramels without Jaguar, like super caramel stuff. So I did that. And then the following year I held back nothing but tigers, a caramel head Exanic, and an Exanic Jaguar. And then this year I'm holding back a zebra, a normal, a caramel Exanic, and then to be determined. So I might hold back some more caramel Exanic stuff depending on how the other kids in that group develop. So
where are you going with that project?
No idea.
What's okay. All right. Jesus, take the wheel. I got
I was
it.
hoping this year to produce some super caramel Exanic Jags because I have a caramel head Exanic going to a caramel Jaguar head Exanic, but I had to pull the boy because he was getting he got a little bit of an RI, so I'm going to fix him, and then he's going right back in there. God damn it! So
I did real quick. I was looking up the super zebras in the complete carpet, the more complete carpet,
okay.
And there's one from Brent Smith, which is pretty nice, and then there's one that Nick Button has, but still not like they're nice yellow and a pretty snake actually. Kind of looks like a tree boa type of deal. But like a Russian burger eye or something like that.
Has anybody ever bred a high yellow super zebra to a high yellow super zebra?
Well, that was going to be my thought because I don't think that you're going to be able to refine that unless you do that.
Right.
No?
I think you have
Wouldn't
to.
you think that you kind of want to, like, my thought would be is that, like, you know, like especially that one that the Striking Pythons had, right? It's this neon yellow super zebra. Like, you know, maybe it's lighting, whatever. Who knows what it looks like now? You got that into effect too, you know, as it ages or whatever. But that snake looked pretty, like it had some size on it.
Yeah, I think so.
But anyway, like my feeling would be if the theory of that the yellow and the black kind of mix together, now you have a yellow and a nice yellow and a nice yellow, then I think you would breed them together, and I think you're right.
I think that would be the
even if you got. Even if you got one or two, even if it was just one snake from the clutch that was a super zebra that was like even nicer than that
if you
yellow,
bred
or stayed a little nicer, or didn't have the dark head stamp or whatever it would be.
If you bred two super zebras, would you get, like, what would you get?
Well, it'd be all super zebras.
It's all super zebras, right?
But I think the problem is that there's issues with those eggs and them going full term. So I think that's why it's sort of the jag thing, right? You're going to get... Think about the Jags.
Oh my God, you'll get the best looking Jaguar ever.
They're beautiful,
and then you'll get a bunch of twitchy idiots.
But they're super Noro. God, you know what I mean?
Like, I love that they used in the beginning. Everything was super. Like a really nice striped tiger.
Those days.
A really nice striped tiger was a super tiger. It's like fuck off.
Yeah.
Like and then they bred. Do you remember the super tiger Jaguar?
Yes.
So the first initial tiger Jaguars had that kind of like bone white kind of look to them, and then they took that tiger Jaguar and they bred it to a tiger, and they got a really reduced pattern tiger Jaguar, but they called it the super tiger Jaguar because I don't know reasons. Like it was just.
Well, if you remember, a lot of it back then was I think Anthony Caponetto. Balin, remember that long thread? It must have been like 57 pages on MP.
It was Campanetto. It was Balin. It was
Leary. I think
Leary.
Mutton was in there.
Yeah.
Will Leary was in there.
Will Leary was the guy who had the super tiger Jaguar, which I mean, dude,
Will Bird was
in there. Yeah, but it was like it wasn't that impressive of an animal by today's standpoint. Like it didn't.
It was back then.
Back then, it was amazing. Back then, I dreamt about that thing. Like it was.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god!
You're like, holy shit!
Oh my god! Oh, the bald back. It's
when you would go to
gorgeous.
his website, you would like click on it. You know, it's like I do miss that. Like I was thinking about this the other day. They were talking about like the difference of like when the internet was there, but you had no phone that could connect to the internet.
You had to go
right?
and sit down at a computer.
So you had to like go and sit at your computer. So like you only had this like little window of time to sit in front of the computer and like
you had to be on point, and the animal you were looking for had to be on king snake right there.
Right.
Yep.
Well, not even that. Just going on the forum and chatting with people. It's like, you know, you would have like this window where it's like, oh, I got home from work. Instead of going and watching a TV show or something, you would go and sit on the, you know, and just check out the forum and see what's new.
Friday night. On
I
the
remember,
forums. Everybody would show up.
you would just like going through those threads, like that talked about that history of that tiger carpet, where, you know, and I want to say that Anthony Caponetto was saying that it was like. I'm pretty sure that he was one that was saying it was super. I think Will Bird was saying it was super. Right. And I think Balin, wasn't he arguing?
Balin was arguing that
like Christopher Walken. Balin this guy is super tigers.
It needs more tiger. I think what Balin was arguing is that just by adding the tiger, you reduce the pattern down, because I know at that time Balin was banging the drum that it was a polygenic trait.
Yeah.
Because the last I remember everybody trying to do the whole Baha, because they took they took a tiger and they bred it to not a tiger, and no tiger showed up, and they're like, you Balin, like look what happened. And he's like, well, yeah, duh. Like it was that whole thing. So you know, like I remember, like, what was it? The liger that Campanetta was trying to figure out. It was just a striped fucking carpet. It was a weird, ugly striped carpet. And he's like, it's the liger gene. It's like, what are you talking about?
I think looking back at it, right, it's easy for us to criticize, but I do think that at the time.
Oh, at the time? That I'm sitting there chomping at the
there was
bit,
so many.
Prove it. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was so many, like, things that, like, I guess it was in the early days of like really breeding carpet pythons, right? And I don't think that we took into account the variability of the carpets,
of the
right?
Species? No.
So like, yeah, because I mean, and a lot of what we were working with at the time was mostly based in coastal, right? Because jungle sort of was just like you bred jungles,
you bred, but that's. And God,
you bred jags and like coastals.
You miss those
tigers
days when each individual jungle breeder had their own look, and that's what that was. And you went to this person because you wanted this look, and now it's point where it's like, all right,
it's kind of all the same, right?
All black and yellow, cool. You got black and yellow, cool. Like it's
It looked like I know they're out there, and I know that people produce them, and I do see them from time to time. But to me, I think it was different back in the day, because you would go and look at Andrew Hare's website, which I have printed out in the book right down there, by the way. But anyway,
you know, every time I see
we'll talk about that too.
Like, every time I see that commercial, we're like, you know, you don't have to print to the internet, right? Like that's all I do is think about you and your book. Yeah.
Back then you did.
Back then
I did, because you can't get that website now. On a side note, I started to go through and started to somewhat organize all of the stuff that I've been tracking for carpet pythons since 2007. And there is so much shit that I just even forgot that I had. And I guess I'm starting to go through it, and I'll be like, oh shit, I remember that. Oh shit, I remember that. Oh shit, I remember this. Like I have the actual thread of the red coastal debate, you know, like people are arguing. You know, back and forth. Oh, this is bullshit. No, it's not bullshit. Why does it turn into a
gray
an overlooking coastal at night? You know, but I don't know. Anyway, I think that back then that they were trying to organize it somehow, and I think that they would just apply a name to
a thing.
an animal that was different than the rest of the clutch. But little did they know or really have a good understanding of all these clutches later that you're just going to get crazy variability in a carpet python clutch.
Right. But now, like,
you're going to get one that hatches out that's weird.
Now, part of it, I think you're correct. They wanted to organize it. But also, if you hatch something out that's weird and you can reproduce it, now you've started something.
Yes.
And half the time, those things either never produced, died before they produced, or when they were bred, produced nothing stellar.
So, yeah, the weird one, I think we were talking about it in the MPR chat the other day, was Hannibal, right? Because Lisa had posted up an animal that she got from Nick. I'd asked, what, always when pop ones come up, I'm just curious about the lineage, what it came from and stuff. So I started going through and just posting up pictures of weird IJs that came from him. And he produced all these goofy IJs, with crazy patterns. There was that one they called the Motley, which was that was another one of his names that
none
he
of them
applied
looked like him. So it's not like you could establish any kind of.
Yeah, he was a weird looking IJ. Yeah. It was more of a color type of thing with him than it was a pattern.
Right, so but that's what they were trying to do is recreate him, and they couldn't. So he just became a father of a bunch of funky looking things that, I mean, if given enough time and the right kind of breedings, could you have established some funky, weird kind of pattern morph shit? Yeah, probably. Who knows?
Possibly. I mean,
or lines.
Some of so from that line, I did produce a weird patterned one, and just like it goes, it died. Yeah, and I was so mad. Oh, dude, it was like I had it for like a week, and just like it was one of those things. It was there, and then I came in and it was gone, and I'm like, what the what a gut punch. It was such a cool animal, but
nothing but breeding reptiles is gut punches and peaks. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess there's just a bit of nostalgia in looking back and seeing where things were and where they are now.
Jags and tiger jaguars will never die. There's nostalgia built into that.
Yeah.
That was the first big python purchase I ever did, was a Wheelery jaguar.
Yeah. I remember going to their sites and shit and just like
I remember saving up all my freaking money, buying her, and then right before she shipped out, Will offered me another female that was even more gorgeous. And he's like, I'll throw her in for like another $800. I'm like, I have no money. Like, it is none. Gone.
Yeah.
And it's the weird thing, because I remember I got the female from that clutch. Howard got a female from that clutch. Somebody else, I forget, I got a female from the clutch. Maybe Balin. But like, I
think no. I was going to say I think Luke did, but maybe, no, he didn't.
But I don't know. But
he got it from Matt Brock.
But we got all three of those Jags, and I want to say like they all ended up dying within like the same year or something like that. Which,
really?
Yeah, it was just some weird kind of thing where, I mean, to be honest, we probably overfed them. We probably did all those other bad things you weren't supposed to do. We all bred them we all had a couple clutches out of each girl. And they all...
Yeah, but remember back then, if you were breeding a coastal carpet, like the going weight was like, what, 3,000 to 3,500 grams?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that was just starting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, especially a coastal.
I raised her up till 4. And the problem is, like, I remember I got like 22, 23 eggs out of her each time.
Uh-huh.
And this is back when Jags, I sold my Jags, my original Jags, for like $700 each.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I bought the Tiger Jag that I have from Jason Balin. It was $900, but man, that thing was beautiful. That's like when he made that clutch that was like super reduced. And I remember listening to him on Reptile Radio, I think it was, and they were talking about like where he was going with the Jag. And he was saying that he was trying to just like reduce the pattern down. I think he was trying to do like what we're talking about with the Super Zebra. Right. But with the Jag, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like you already had that nicer color base Because let's face it, Jag, like as soon as you apply Jag into it, it just like boosts the color up of whatever you're breeding.
I was a Talon I got from Jason in 08, and he was $1,000 straight up as a pink little baby. And that was, Jason took an ornate Jag, which is just a heavy pattern Jag, and bred it to that red bred it to that red tri-stripe.
The male he did the 07 Tigers with?
Yep. And that's what I got Talon.
Does he still have that animal?
I think that thing's gone. I think that passed.
Okay.
But, dude, like Talon, I've had Talon since 2008, and he produced a clutch last year. He produced that red female that I was showing you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the red's in there,
and
it just depends on what mate he gets crossed to. But, like, to say that that animal has made me, like, I mean, that $1,000 I spent on him has come back like 10 different ways in animals that he has produced that I've also bred, and also animals that he has produced that I've sold.
See, I think you're more geared to be a breeder in that sense that you seem to like focus on a project, and you're able to keep that focus and take the project to the end. Right. So like it's like, okay, I bought this Jag, I spent this money with this Jag. It was a huge amount of money because that was a lot of money.
I mean, it was not nice. it was
yeah. Now it's like $1,000. Like, whatever. That was the. But back then it was like
I spent the $1,000 and I came home and I had one of those like, shit.
Yes.
Like one of those moments.
What did I do?
I'm like, I am broke. And then I love it because the following year is when he produced the tigers. He had the red tigers.
Okay.
So I remember I had a red tiger female and I had Talon. And I'm like, when these two grow up, I'm going to breed them together.
Right.
And I never did.
You love those projects, right?
Yeah. I mean,
do this.
Well, I think she died before I was able to breed her. But then I think I ended up getting another female from Balin, and I bred that one to Talon. But then it's like Talon produced Echo. Echo produced Soundwave. Soundwave produced Triss. She's downstairs right now. So it's like, keep going.
Jesus, I remember when Echo was like,
Echo was my boy.
Shit.
Echo
that was like,
Echo was nothing.
Early MPR, you were like, Echo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Now he's like, he's old news.
Yeah.
He's like 5 generations.
He's 5 generations.
What are you talking
man.
about?
Like it's.
Yeah. Well, you even did that with the caramel stuff.
Yeah.
I say that all the time that you did that. Whereas like I had this, like, I think I have like OCD where I like have too many. It was just too much, right? I need this. 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 So like,
good thing about focusing on a project is you keep moving the goalpost. So I'm chasing this. When you achieve it, then you plug in those parts into a new project. So
correct.
Like right now, Talon has produced this insane red colored female downstairs. Okay.
Right.
I already have 2 red tiger males that she could potentially go to.
Okay.
I also have a red tiger jaguar female that I got from you that I can always breed one of my red tigers to produce something that'll go to her later. Like you start connecting the dots and seeing how it all goes. So like, eventually, like way back when Talon was plugged in and he led here, but then now she's the focus of the project. So when you produce an animal that you can build a project around, everything shifts and changes.
Yeah. I think like, so it seems like my current, like the thing I have the most of and the thing that it seems like I'm going to be breeding to refine the most of is tigers.
Right.
Which I should have just started with anyway. Because that's sort of like, that's what I'm saying about like I got, you know what I mean? I had this focus, like I really like stripes. And now I'm looking at my collection And like, I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff, and I still have a lot of stuff. And there's certain things that I haven't cut out. Like, for instance, pepper tigers, right? I call them pepper tigers because that look that male, that one you were talking about, that Balin bred, that one. So the clutch that I produced from those '07 red tigers that he had, so I had 3.3 of them, 3.3 of just those.
Right.
What the fuck am I doing with 3.3?
I think I'm so I have, out of my tigers, I have 4 males.
Okay.
No, 5 males.
Right.
I have two red tiger males. One from Balin, one from Other Buddy, which means it's an MBB red.
Right.
And then I have 2 tiger males that I produced myself, which are the ones that are mixed up between Russian Reds, Balin Tigers, and Peterson Stripes. And then I have one, it's a Balin Russian male. And then I have, that's those. That's those 5. And then we're not counting, like, I guess we should count them. I have a tiger Poshet Exanic boy. So 6 tigers. And then I think I only have like 1 tiger female. And no, I have 2. I have a caramel tiger female. I have a caramel tiger female. No, I have 3. Caramel tiger female, normal tiger female, and then I have a het Exanic tiger female. So
the one tiger you gave me, perfectly striped, top to bottom. Yeah. That was from the Peterson
Stripe red tiger Balin thing.
Okay.
That was I bought those babies to sell because I didn't have any and all of this stuff, and I kept the best looking boy and the best looking girl, which I raised up, and I got the one clutch 2 years ago, but the female died after that. I guess she had something was not okay inside.
Right.
But the male's still here, and he's produced several clutches, and I kept the 2 boys from that clutch. But
I think mine's a male.
Yeah, that stripe thing, because you had that female, and that male showed up, and I'm like, nope, in a deli cup, I'm gonna drive this to Eric's. So like it was, and that's just where it goes. Where it's like sometimes like
because you had so many males, you're just like now.
We've talked about this, where it's like sometimes you have to be picky because that one animal come along that moves the project forward. But you can constantly build projects. Like Billy Hunt sent me that one tiger female. Like I can't wait for her to get big. She's going to be good.
Right.
But I'm hoping
I got some really nice striped shit from Billy, man.
I'm hoping this year I took my red tiger male from Balin and put it to that tiger female from Ted Thompson that you sent me.
Okay.
I'm hoping the 2 of them breed because those are the kind of animals that when they're all coiled up, you get dizzy. So
yeah. So
I'm hoping that they produce some good stuff because I'm going to try to grab some more females out of that. So
I'm kind of like I kind of want to see if I can produce this, right? So they're 2 tigers. So for people, I don't know how I would share this. Maybe I'll post it up on. I'll take some pictures and I'll post them up on the MPR social media stuff, right? But it's kind of like that. So that same sort of like the male that Balin used was like this. It was a beautiful.
Oh, you read the red tri-stripe?
And the red tri-stripe, but it had like this peppering over it. And like a lot of those '07 red tigers would have this sort of same thing. A lot of it you would see sometimes on the back, like you would see these little dots on the bald back, that would come down. And Jason I remember one time I was talking to Jason, he was saying about how, he has seen this, in some of the stuff that he's bred.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, maybe this is something to do. So I bred it out, and of course it's a pair, right? Which is cool. But they're like peppered from their head
to their tail. Yeah.
It's like I don't even know if I've shown you these. Like usually when you come here, we don't even go.
We don't get we just keep talking about random shit.
Yeah, I'll have to show them the next time you're here because they're freaking nutty looking, man. They're like, it's like the tiger, but it's got like fishnet over top of it. It's really strange. It's really a weird but cool look at the same time. So I'm going to see if I can somehow refine it.
But that's the cool thing to do. That's the fun project to play with. Like I have that tiger jaguar from you, and I'm just I can't wait to grow her up to throw her to the
V.
Yeah,
like
I have the V female. The V female.
Yeah.
Her name's Vanessa. If I get her, when I get her big enough, I mean, I have that MBB red tiger from Other Buddy.
Dude, they're gonna. Oh my god!
It's just like I'm like, you have those animals in your collection that you're like the two of you are a match made in my brain. Like you guys are, and when you eventually put those animals together and you get the babies and you hatch out better than what you were expecting, because there's always the one that you're like, holy shit! Like
yes,
it like that's what does it for me. That's what does it for me. Yeah. I can't wait.
100%.
I keep doing 100%. This till I'm dead.
I think that's sort of the fun that, I know, right? That's sort of the fun that I kind of enjoy more so than like, it's fun. It was fun to produce morphs in a way that like a lot of the morphs weren't they weren't seen yet, or at least seen to the public, right? Some of the stuff Paul was like way ahead and had these already comboed out and, whatnot and stuff. But like, it's not going to change. Like, meaning that if I'm producing an albino zebra jag, it may change a little bit, right? The pattern or whatever, but it's still going to be an albino zebra jag, right? Whereas like with these, goofy pairings that you're just like, wow, that's a really unique looking animal. That's really unique looking animal. That's really unique. And then you sort of pair those together and out
pops this insane thing. You're like, oh my God. Yeah.
That's sort of what Keith did with short tails.
Right. I like that more than I'm going to cross these and produce the same goddamn thing over and over again. Like I think
if you're trying to do this for to try to make a name for yourself in the hobby, that's the way to go, because nobody else can replicate until
you let the animals go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like Matt sort of took the ball and ran with it with short tails, where Keith it's stopped, right? But I mean, think of all the things that Matt has. He's got the Ocelot project, which he's kind of the guy that's steering that ship.
Right.
He's got the extreme marble thing. You know what I mean?
Marble.
Like he's got these. He's got these projects where he's kind of like the guy, because there's nobody else.
He's kind of the guy because he's like, he saw the idea and the opportunity of what to move forward with. Like, and again, like something hatches out and Matt's got to sit back and be like, well, what could go well with this? What could go well with that? Like he's got to figure it out. And that's where I get the kick out of it. Like I'm producing, what is it right now? I have 2 super caramels I'm raising up. One's a super caramel jag, one's just a straight up super caramel. I have not decided, I have not produced or decided the male that's going to go with them.
Okay.
This year I intend to, because I have a caramel tiger female and I have an M-Pen caramel stripe male coming. So that M-Pen caramel stripe male is going to be bred with my caramel tiger, and I'm hoping to produce a really nice caramel tiger boy. And that would be the one that goes with it.
So it's funny. I was just clicking through Morph Market real quick again, and I'm looking at Nick's True Hypo Tigers.
Yes.
And there's a couple of them that have that same peppery pattern. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Hypo Tigers,
they come from that same thing.
Exactly. Right? The Hypo Tigers have Balin Tiger in them. Like Balin Tigers were shipped over to Paul to be used in the projects. So, yeah.
Very cool.
I'm I'm really looking forward to the next couple of years of breeding, just because it's a couple projects I got going. Like I do have a caramel female this year. It'll be her first year, and I'm breeding her to my super caramel jag, and he's the one that's produced all the weird, very, very reduced pattern jaguars and all this other stuff. So,
okay,
and it's weird is that I produced him by breeding. Actually, no, I produced the really, really reduced pattern super caramel jaguar by breeding my super caramel jaguar back to his mother.
Okay.
Something I didn't never really wanted to do, but like taking that step back or doing that one little loop, almost like you were talking about. Sometimes you got to breed the zebra to the zebra, you know?
Right. See, even now, like I put in my notes, I Googled super zebra just to go back to the super zebra. There is a Sunglow super zebra from Troy Brahmi in Australia.
Wow.
So I'm sure. I don't know, man. It seems like I'm going to send it to you real quick.
I think just certain people have just stopped. Like they like nobody's really taking the ball. It's nice looking, kind of like a little bit like an orangey creamsicle kind of feel to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think we got to a certain point and people called it good and they didn't move and they stopped moving the ball forward.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was something we talked about. Like I told you, there was somebody who was on Facebook asking if there was anybody in the U.S. working on snow projects. And I'm like, there has to be a few, but I couldn't think of anybody offhand.
I'm taking this back because here I go again. Yeah, I think maybe you're right. There is maybe some refinement because MZ Morelia this is from 2022. There's that one.
It's another one. Ooh.
It's a nice one, right?
Yeah.
That's a nice super zebra.
And that head is not as dark. I mean, it is, but not as dark as some of the other ones. So, yeah, maybe there is some refinement that can be done.
There's hope.
There's hope.
Yes.
There's always a refinement that can be done on anything. It just, are you willing to put in the work?
Right.
You know, you're not gonna get lucky and hatch your first super zebra that's gonna be neon yellow. Like, you're gonna need to hatch some ugly ones and breed them together, or breed them to other really nice looking zebras. And it's just how that goes. Is that a granite?
That is an inland.
What?
A wild inland.
A what?
A wild inland. An inland carpet.
A wild inland. Did this thing get out of somebody's
Looks like a granite,
it's silver
right?
peppered, right?
No.
Jesus.
It was found in the wild.
Grab it.
Pretty crazy, right?
Yep. No, wait.
Did somebody grab it?
Don't grab it. That, sir, is illegal.
Well, we can't.
Nope. Not allowed to do that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man. I have so many fucking pictures of just weird
animals from God knows where. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Oh my God. If I could only like somehow get this into some kind of archive of some sort.
Yeah, I do wish we had a I don't know, what is it, a Discord or something like that? We can put them all in.
So that's something that I've been working on. I'm kind of new to that, so I'm learning it. I have it ready to go. Cool. It's just a matter of setting it up. So it's kind of weird, right? There's like these, I guess they call them, forget what they call them. They call them, so think of it like there's like a main, like there's these little, so like, you know, in Apple Notes, where you can like make folders.
Yeah.
I don't think they're called folders, but it's kind of along the same line. Okay. So if I had, carpet python feeding, that would be a folder, right? So people could go on there and then that's what they're going to talk about.
Okay.
Like, hey, I'm having trouble. Or like, I guess it could be set up in a way that like, FAQs for carpet pythons could be put in there so that people could go over and sort of like, things like that. But it kind of reminds me of like the feel of it is kind of like an old school type of forum type of thing. And you can allow access to certain spots and stuff. I guess it's similar to what we kind of do in the chat, in the MPR chat, but it's on Discord app, and
which is nice.
I've noticed that a lot of podcasts will use Discord as a way for the community to sort of get together. And I think what they're trying, like maybe the idea is that like right now, I think that our community is kind of like on two different platforms. Like you have some people that are on Facebook, some people that are on Instagram,
right?
Some people that are on both. I think like the older people are on Facebook, younger people are on Instagram, and then you have people that are kind of both, right?
Right.
I think the idea is that it's all in one spot,
right?
You know, which I guess is kind of like what the forum was, but
way back.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm hoping that I have it set up this weekend, and then I gotta add you into it so you can go in and check it out and just look at it.
I'll have to download that app and try to figure out what's going on. Yeah.
They say that you should use the app.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that, like, watching some YouTube videos and stuff, they did talk about it. But I guess the thinking is that you could kind of have like private chats, like we could have like the Inland Tier Patreon chat, and like we could go over there. You know, my thinking would be like, okay,
something that is part of the Patreon thing where you come to the Discord if you've gotten to that tier. So
yeah. So I don't know. We're working on that. And then the other thing that I'm like slowly chipping away at is like the website. Like I'm super impressed with westindianboas.org.
Yeah.
Like super impressed with that, man. Like the guys that are doing that are just like, I didn't know about that, and I'm sure Rob told me about it a couple times, and I just was
West
sort of
Indian
like,
boas. We don't care.
That's not a carpet python. What do I care about it?
Be gone with you. Yeah.
Yeah. But I kind of want to do something similar in the vein for something online for carpet pythons that people can go to. It's got, not care sheets, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, remember, like sort of like, for me, Anthony Capinetto is where I went to.
Yeah, it was Anthony Capinetto.
Sort of learn about
Will
breeding.
website. It was like the
This
is how you breed carpet pythons, and then it was
or like Will Bird has what is it? Understanding carpet pythons or something like that. He did like an article or whatever, and that floats. Like if you go into Google and you type in carpet pythons Will Bird, it'll probably pop up. It's like a PDF that you can get, kind of like that.
I think I printed out Will Leary's. I had it saved as a favorite, and I would just go there to review and make sure I was breeding them correctly. And then I think I ended up printing out that I saved it to a Word document and printed it and hung it in my snake room for the first couple of seasons.
Isn't it funny how we just followed that to it? Oh my God, the article says this.
The article says I had to do this and I'm behind. Now I'm flip the switch. What time is it? What year is it? What part are we? Whatever. I got it. There we go.
Oh man. Yeah.
Hold on. Let's figure this out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm working on that. But that's sort of that's such a tedious process, man. Holy shit. Such a tedious process, but I kind of wanted to make it the stop to go for carpet pythons and such online, like a website.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Slowly but surely. It's only taken us 12 years. We'll eventually get to the spot. We'll eventually be a spot for carpet pythons.
Yeah. By the time Owen doesn't have any more,
by the time I've phased them all out and have colubrids only.
It's like carpet pythons. I only have white
Morelia I have is a rough scale. Get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're close enough.
Good enough. Cleared. Stamp.
Close enough. Yeah. I think that's, it's so funny. I feel like my collection is just slowly going back that way to where the
collection is slowly going down. Mine keeps going up. It's no.
It's slowly going up.
Oh.
Yeah.
God.
Oh, yeah. It's so much. It is nice to have a smaller collection.
Oh, this blue beauty here that I have here in quarantine was just hitting the side of the bin the other day. And I'm like, don't be like that. Just chill. You're in quarantine. Just chill. So.
Right. Holy shit. That is nice.
What is it?
It's that's for me.
No. I produced this. Okay.
It's one of the MBB the red Jags from V.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow, that snake is small. That was a long time ago.
What's the as much as we'd like to give credit to V, I think the real winner behind that clutch is going to be Molly. So
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
In the
Dude, Molly
future-
2.0?
Oh, yeah. 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 You're like, you can't have this one. I'm like, but I want it. You're like, you can't have it. I'm like, God damn you.
No.
You can have one of the other
So
ones.
it's sort of
fine.
It has like in the striping, it has that khaki color that the Jags had with the red. Yeah, it's really nice.
Balin has asked several times if you're planning on breeding her and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, he'll get there eventually. And Balin's like, but I want it now. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah. Well, nicely. I was hoping to breed her this year.
Yeah. Molly?
I have a red. So the idea is that I didn't want the Jag part of it, so I don't have the Jag anymore.
More tiger. Yeah.
Well, I have a red, a really, really nice red from Balin. That's from a tiger lineage and such, but it's not really striped all that well, which, as you know, that doesn't necessarily matter.
That doesn't mean shit. It's got tiger blood in it, and plus Molly's Molly. You'll be fine. And
Molly is a little bit on. It's not that she's dark, but she's a little bit like her. She has wider, darker bands, if that makes sense, right? So it gives the impression that she's darker. And this one is way lighter. So I'm hoping that somehow I can get a nice mix out of it. And I'm hoping that I can get. So last year, well, not last year, whatever year it was that I did that pairing. Molly 2.0 was the only tiger I produced.
Right.
Everything else was Jags.
Right.
So I'm hoping that it's the opposite, where I produce all tigers and don't know what to do with them all.
I know where some of the girls can go.
Exactly.
I have an idea of what you can do with some of the females.
There's a couple people that are we're looking for it.
You and I have both never ever said no to a really nice tiger, male or female.
No.
It depends on how many we need of certain things. Like now I'm sitting here, I'm like, I got too many boys. Like I need some girls.
Yeah. And it's funny, like I know we always talk about the when it comes to Will Leary, right? We always seem to focus on the red or the Jag or the tiger Jag type of deal. But like I think, well, probably because I'm talking with you and it's not necessarily in your wheelhouse, but like Reptilicus IJs.
Right.
Fuck, man. Holy shit. His IJs were like
IJs,
yes.
He also had he brought the granite and stuff in there too.
Yeah, he had that what was it called? What did he call it? The Labyrinth?
Yes.
That really weird patterned IJ that he produced that never really did anything.
Didn't really pan out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's like incubation. So the only one that I know that has like that pure stuff is Kohler. He has that stuff.
Yes, he does.
Yes. I think he's producing them this year. I was keeping my eye on that.
You want me to? I should see him at the end of February. You want me to ask him?
Yeah.
Like Burke says, what you doing with them Reptilicus babies? So
yeah. And then Balin's always looking for stuff that he wants me to produce, but like, a Tiger IJ would be nice, just saying.
They had, I think they produced a couple clutches, but but like the survival rate of the clutch was shit. Like it was just like, they only got like 2 to hatch or something like that. And also they were splitting them between each, like Kohler and Balin. They kind of tried to stay joint as much as they could just to make it easier. But I think it's going to be a couple more years so that the babies that they did produce can be raised up.
Have grown up.
Yeah. And then you'll start seeing some good shit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when that came out? That Tiger IJ?
Tiger IJ, yep.
That's when you were thinking about getting into IJs back then.
No, I wanted anything with a stripe.
Yeah. Still, how come you haven't gotten Darwin tigers? Don't do nothing for you,
dude. They do. They're awesome. Like those, even just the striped Darwins, not even tiger Darwins. Like the striped stuff that Todd was producing for years. I wanted those things, but
yeah. Oh, you mean the reduced pattern ones,
yes.
or like the stripe ones?
Yeah, the reduced pattern ones that were kind of like they were like dark and they had the one bright stripe down them. I was like, done. Yeah. I'm a sucker for contrast, but.
That's my wheelhouse.
But I was just like, there's only, you can only fill a cage once, and I only have so much room, and it's starting to get ridiculous here now. Like it is like, so adding another project for Darwin. I mean, Darwin for me was always albino, always chasing the albino thing, and I'll produce albinos. So help me God. If not this year, I'm sending him to you because then you're just going to do it.
I'm going to make heads like and then make albinos.
I have him with that caramel het albino. Just, I don't know why. It's like, just to produce, I guess, albino caramels and other things. But then,
well,
I always wanted to produce straight up Darwins.
Yeah. Oh, just like albino Darwins or just plain
I always wanted to take him, an albino, to a straight 100% het, so I could get Darwins and I could get albinos.
Right.
But it never seemed to work out.
Did you have a het female at some point?
I had a het female. I had a het female for a while, and I was raising her up. I'm not sure what happened with her, but she died, and then I got another one, and they were never going to breed because that was a male. So
that's not going to work.
No, that does not work. So I got rid of him, and then I asked you if you had any kind of het albino thing, because I think at that point it was the I will breed him, so help me God. And you were like, yeah, here's a caramel albino thing. I'm like, fine, I'll take it. Done. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where, that's kind of like where my head has been at with carpet pythons as of late. You got me thinking about, I'm going to pull out my Andrew Hare website because I want to see those jungles again, man.
It's fun to...
He had some really nice jungles.
Yeah, but do you remember
those fucking jungles?
Do you remember what was used to be called a 50-50?
Yeah.
Where it was like black bar, yellow bar, black bar, yellow bar, and that was it.
Yes.
Those were my ideal jungles. Like I didn't want tipping. I didn't want black in my yellow. I didn't want yellow in my black. I just wanted black and yellow.
Tight bands?
Broad bands. Come on.
Broad bands. Okay.
Okay. And that was, I never got into jungles until they became into my, like, I think my first couple jungles, like I tripped into was one of those, like a friend was getting out of it and they gave me jungles. And then I just started producing my own.
For whatever reason, me and you never really got into the jungle game in the early days. Like
I was into coastals,
just bypass that.
I was into coastals, and you were a dark sider.
Yeah. So, look at that thing I just sent.
Yes.
That's not a 50-50.
But dear God. Like
that's Sean Carroll, man. That guy.
Take that and cross it with that.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
That's
what did you call her? Violet.
That's Artemis. No, that's the ultraviolet female I got from you.
Yeah. Wow.
Her, I'm chomping at the bit. I don't even know. Like she eats everything in sight. She just won't grow. She just will not grow.
Yeah.
She's so slow at growing. But like I think I held back one of the males from the joint pairing that I did with Mike Curtin just to go with her in the future.
Yeah. Wow. Man, Jesus.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I like having the animals that I have and then making the perfect mate to plug into them, where it's just like, you have been chosen, you get to stay. Where it's like, yeah. And then everybody else can fight over my scraps.
Right. Yeah, that's the way to do it, man.
Of course. I'm waiting for the I kept the zebra female from that joint pairing between me and Curtin, and she's gonna be nice when she grows up.
Or a jungle like that.
The answer to the question, that's the tribal thingy. No,
it's not.
No, where's that from?
No,
is that a jag?
Sean Carroll. No jag.
Dear God,
that's jungle, man.
Damn. Yeah,
shows you how terrible we are.
Yeah, we suck. Dude, like, I don't know why we never jumped into jungles. I know other people were heavy into them at the time. You were doing the IJ thing, but I just wanted to play in my coastal sandbox and be quiet. So,
yeah, I kind of feel like, I guess the reason that I didn't do it is because I wanted to refine a different different group.
Go somewhere. Like, you know? I mean, aside from reducing pattern or altering stuff, eventually you hit the point where how much more yellow can you get it?
Yeah.
I mean, and you can always refine the amount of black, the amount of yellow, what black is in the yellow, what yellow is in the black, but eventually you do hit that ceiling.
Yeah, this was the one I was looking for to show you, but if you're talking about that, but that's probably the closest I'm thinking to what you're saying. But even then, the bands aren't exactly perfect.
Yeah, you got yellow in the black.
Too much black?
And you got yellow in the black.
Yeah.
But
oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
There were a few choice animals, and they were always being bred to animals that looked like that one. And you're like, well, they'll look great, but then nothing ever came out like 50-50 straight up, and it was just like, oh. But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, because even then, like, I think I would get kind of tired of chasing the black and yellow stuff. Like, I mean, obviously, I have jungles, and obviously, I still breed and produce black and yellow animals, and obviously, I'm looking for the best and brightest to hold back and breed to each other and all that other stuff. But that compared to like what I look at for a caramel, it's night and day. Like, I really look into what I'm going to keep back for a caramel, and I really am picky about that kind of stuff.
Okay. What do you look for in a caramel? Like, what is it?
First up is, like, for a caramel jag, first up is pattern. Because color will come.
Reduced pattern? Or?
Yeah, I'm trying to reduce it. I mean, pattern will come. I'm sorry, color will come, and some of that pattern never freaking changes. There might be some subtle stuff.
Yeah.
But
I've heard that it's easier to add color than it is pattern.
Yeah, it is. And also it's easier just because we both know carpets develop different ways. So it'll take some time.
That's true.
For the color to
Somebody
come in.
told me, wait till it sheds.
Wait till it sheds. Exactly. So
smack. But it's so nice now.
Shut up.
Wait till it sheds. Have I taught you nothing?
Have you learned nothing? So you produce the animals, and you start kind of just checking them off. Like you see what fits. Like, this one's got an interesting pattern. This one's got cool color. This one's something I want to watch. And then those are your holdbacks, your initial holdbacks. After a couple months, you start seeing sheds, you start seeing them grow. Maybe one or two are shifted out, where it's like, it's not really developing, or there's a leader in the pack. You know, let's say you produced 4 caramel jags. One has a very reduced pattern, not a lot of black, and you can kind of see where the black's going to come in. You don't see that much of it, and it pounds food, and it starts growing, and it starts like leaps and bounds color away from all its other siblings. So that is obviously your holdback female. So that's the one there. But then let's say you only produced maybe 2 males that year, and the males, there's really not one that's kind of sticking out like away from the other. There's not one that really looks insanely better than the other. And you're just going to watch both boys. And then maybe you don't keep any boys this year because they're not up to the par. Really what happens is you have the runaways from the clutch. You have those one or two that really stand out. And it's like, all right, well, who's going to beat that? And if none of the other babies beat that, then you're your holdback.
Have you ever changed directions in a project because of producing something that wasn't the sex you were looking
100%. Whereas it's like,
I've done that.
You produce it, you hold it back. My favorite thing is you produce it, you hold it back, and then a year later, you either
somebody posts up the one you sold. You're like,
oh, that fucking sucks. I hate that. But then that's why I hold everything back. Like that's why.
Oh, you're perking it. Okay.
That's why the good ones stay with me no matter what.
Right.
And then I'll let ones go when I feel comfortable.
Have you ever been bit where the ones that you let go
outclassed the
like turned out way nicer?
No.
That's never happened?
Never happened. Have they turned out great? Yes. Have they turned out better than the ones that I've had? No. Now, could they have done just as well plugged into my project? Yes. They will hit equal.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where it's also what I'm looking for, what I'm after. So if that animal is good, like just as good, I count that as a loss because you've got to that point where you took one of your options away from what you could pick, and it's like, well, shit.
Right.
But I've had people who were like, I bet you regret leaving this, like letting this one go. No, because that one
I have this one.
That one isn't the one that I wanted. I wanted this one. Well, that one doesn't look good as this one. That's your fucking opinion. Like, I don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there have been animals that say, let's for the sake of argument to make this conversation people, where like there's a consensus that this is a stellar animal, and the one that you have fits into your project better, but maybe not necessarily the general public would say is.
I would say that there would
not that it's nicer or not nicer, but you know what I'm saying?
If you compared both of them, they would be both classed as stellar animals, but there would be some people that would think this one's better, and there would be some people that think this one's better for different reasons. So
they're both A pluses.
Both A pluses.
But some people
one would pick this one and some would pick this one. Like, and we've had that where it's like you're like that one. And I'm like, no, that one. Like it's
there was I can't. So in the very beginning when I was picking out IJs, my first couple clutches, I was terrible at picking them out. The ones that I thought were going to be stellar, no, we're not.
Yeah.
It's similar to what you're saying, right? I'm like, oh, that's the one.
Yeah.
You know, and this sort of like what led me to sort of keep everything, because I was trying to. I know everybody thinks that I'm hoarding everything and I don't want to sell it, but the idea is that I'm trying to hone in my eye for what I like and sort of see how it develops, right? And like when you can take a picture of that animal, say every month or every time it sheds, and you can look at it and how it progressed, you can sort of start to see, you know, just little details that to the average person that's not necessarily going to pick up on it, right? But just like little things. And I don't know what it was about. Like an example would be, I remember I was at Hamburg. This was, you know, a long time ago. I'm walking by Balin's table. Balin, at this time, he didn't even really know who I was.
Right.
But I think I had bought a Tiger from him, or a Coastal that was from Tiger Line or whatever. And he's trying to explain it to me. And I'm just like, dude, I don't know. I have no idea what you're saying, man. It's just a cool snake. Like, I have no clue what you're doing. He's talking, well, if you breed this to that, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, like, and now I understand it, no problem. But back then, like, before I even knew, like, what carpets were.
Right.
I'm just like, dude, I don't.
I think it just looks nice.
I don't care. I want that, buy that snake. Like, can I buy it? And he's like, yeah, of course it's a really good choice, blah, blah, blah. But when I went to look at his stuff, there's like the one that I call Akko, that female, she looked she had like a ghost like appearance to her. And I was like, that one. And sure enough, she turned out to be freaking phenomenal.
It's hard. I would say first up is pattern. So my holdback from 2 years ago. Needle.
Right.
She was born with, and when they hatch out, there's very, like when you look at super caramel jags when they hatch out, of course they kind of got a reddish hue, and you see the saddles, but then you can also see where the black is going to come in. So you see the little dark patches.
Right.
She had none of them. I knew there was some black going to come in, but she had none. So when she grew up, or she's growing up, she's got black around her head stamp. And then she has, like, normally you would see a black border on the saddles of Jaguars.
Right.
She has no borders on her saddles. She just has maybe 2 or 3 black scales on the inside of each saddle.
Okay.
So you kind of see that as it's developing, and you're like, this one? Like, I'm just going to check that. Because it's one of those things of keep the best, because then you'll work it into the project. So with her, I'm definitely going to try to do reduced pattern stuff. Like, I'm going to try to get her to a caramel tiger. I'm going to try to get her to a super caramel that has not a lot of black. My guys, because they're first gen caramel stuff that I've kind of been working with, I still get a lot of black in my super caramels. Now that helps and hurts because it gives you really nice contrast and look really pretty, but you want to kill the black. So with her, I'm hoping that if I add some nice caramel stuff that is either outside my line, like a caramel tiger or something like that, or if I produce a good looking boy with a very reduced pattern, that you'll get really nice reduced pattern super caramel tiger jaguars, super caramel tigers, super caramel jaguars, and super caramels. So that's the whole point. So she's got her own project working around her.
So when you're reducing the pattern on a super caramel tiger jag, how does the caramel affect the? It's just, is it the base? Do they get that orange type of glow?
Well, you get the base
thing
color,
or are they a little bit different? Yeah,
I mean, you get the kind of golden base color, but then the color in the saddles of the jag,
but the saddles
will change.
Oh, so there's still somewhat of.
So it's like here, I'm going to send you the picture, Needle, real quick. So the color inside the saddles will change. So like you look at the basic jag saddle, and then you look at a super caramel jag, and you see the color inside the saddles is like a golden kind of caramel.
Okay.
You can see that. So what I would do with trying to reduce that is obviously she's got some black on her spine and stuff like that from dots. You'd kind of try to organize that as like a nice back stripe, bald back. And then maybe you start trying to figure out if you can get some tigers that have those golden stripes down their sides. Organize the saddles into stripes.
So does that orange intensify? That's
she's gorgeous. This is a year old. This picture, like she's stunning. She's also mean as shit. So it's hard to take pictures of her.
It.
Yeah, she's a bitch. But
So for people that so what we're looking at is it's sort of think of a tiger jag type of thing. Where the saddles on the side are typically outlined in black, and the saddles are orange, but they really don't have the outline. They just have a scale or two or here is black, and you're trying to get rid of all that black.
Trying to
and reduce that pattern, that orange, or you're trying to keep that?
I want to keep the orange. But I want to reduce the black, and then I want to
reduce the black.
I want to organize the orange with some tiger stuff.
You know what would do? You know what would do that?
Mm-hmm.
Hypo.
I know.
Hypo will take all that black.
I know,
out.
And that is a female. He says, knowing full well that somebody has a hypo male. Yeah.
So will she be ready next year?
No.
Oh, okay.
She's a monster, and she eats small rats now. But
okay. Well, yeah, she'll be ready next year. No problem.
No,
come on.
Man. No, we don't breed till they're 4.
Okay, 4. Okay.
Yeah, I like to save it till they're 4.
Look at you, Mr. Responsible herpetoculturalist.
He says as he put his 2.5-year-old false water cobras together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
What? Yes.
But,
what was that about?
Oh, they'll be fine. I'm told. So, but yeah, I like to try to wait till 4 because I never liked rushing them at 3, and I feel like 4.
That's a good age.
4 is a good age.
Yeah, it's better.
You give them that 1 year, and I usually like to drop them down and do the whole cycle thing when they turn 3, and then like throw them to a male when they turn 4. So,
okay. Okay, so I'll have to breed my male next year to my female to make some super caramel, super hypo coastals.
Yeah.
And then I can send you the boy.
That works.
That'll give us plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
Unless I die in between, and I'll tell Dory that you can take him now.
That's fine. Just write that on a piece of paper. Owen gets.
I'm gonna write it right now.
Animals. Yeah.
Owen gets first pick.
Damn right he do, and there will be no second.
Anything he wants. Except for...
I'm going to wheel everything out. Say IJs.
IJs.
I'm just going to wheel everything out. It'll be fine. Some people have to come to me for the IJs.
Yeah.
Don't need to buy them, otherwise they'll never be produced. Yeah. It's the only way.
So true.
So.
Yeah, okay. Well, I kind of enjoyed our carpet python talk tonight.
Get back to the basics, originally fueled the fires.
I mean, you know me, they're my favorite. I don't think there's anything better. I don't care about your
as much as
your cave dwelling tree snakes, your freaking 20-foot reticks,
cave dwelling tree snake.
Your fucking cobras that think they're real
that only
cobras
lives on one
that are
tree
not.
in one cave. Okay.
What else do you have over there? Your turtle that just keeps ramming.
As much as I say that, we're going to start, I might start phasing out certain carpet projects. Caramel was always going to be here. So it's always going to be caramel, caramel tiger, caramel jags, and the supers and stuff.
I would be mad at you if it wasn't the case.
Right. But then there's also I'm like, I'm just going to do the caramels. Oh, but I have all this red stuff I'm doing too. It's I can't get rid of those. So
what about when the Russian tigers
exactly come? I can't do that. So if anything,
you can't get rid of that.
When I talk about it, it's like, well, I'm going to trim the fat. Well, I can't get rid of the breadlie. I can't get rid of the jungles. Those are easy. Damn it. Where is the fat that I'm trimming? I got to find it here. Something's going, goddammit. And that's, I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell the caramel head albino, and I'm going to send the albino male to Eric. That's one carpet project gone.
There you go.
And it's not really gone. It's just over there.
Yeah, it's over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, man. You just, keep
outsourcing. That's the only way I can. Yeah.
Yeah. Until we get a farm or
it's
something.
It has to be. We have to. God, it's so much easier,
dude. I'm designing. This is what we'll leave on right now. I'm in the process of designing my diamond python cage. And I'm getting a lot of ideas from Cam Candy.
Yep.
He's in Australia. He does custom. He does a lot of stuff with Luke and stuff like that, but does custom enclosures and stuff. And the enclosure that he has for his diamond pythons. Dude, it's so fucking, oh my God. I can't wait. So I'm thinking I started thinking, I think I'm going to keep diamonds and brettles in here.
Okay.
Right? Does that make sense?
It does.
Right?
It does.
Just because they're both going to get cold. I can control the gauge of the diamond and keep them a certain way and maybe keep the brettles a little hotter, but the ambient will be colder. Right. So then I'm thinking of, John in Australia, he had that enclosure built where he has the shack.
Yep.
It looks like Alice Springs shack.
Yep.
And I'm thinking man, I could have the diamond python on the one side here, and then over on that side have the brettles, and just have them as a group.
You could
just have my 2.2 diamonds and my 2.2 brettles, and just
You could,
just have them all together.
And then it's just going to be hell feeding them. It's going to have to.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah,
it probably will.
Bins and separate
6-foot cages and shit, and oh my gosh. So yeah, I thought also about doing like a shower stall similar to what Mike did.
Yeah.
I thought about like that. That might be the easier route because then you don't have to.
Right, and then you get a full.
But I don't know how.
Yeah, you can get the full nice little glass door to open and close. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the bottom could be filled with substrate or whatever, and I could do. I'm thinking like a nice like hibernating bin of some sort, and that they could go down into the thing.
I've seen people take those. They're like showers that go in like RVs and stuff that have like curved glass, like front, like doors that you open and close. I've seen people take those entire things and turn those into really cool, like tree monitor, tree boa cages.
Yeah. Yeah. And just have them right there on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So hopefully I got it done by Carpet Fest. So I was talking to my dad. I'm like, Dad, I might need some carpentry help, but
he'll do it.
I just have to give him some rats.
Listen, I'll work for rats. What do you need? I'll figure something out.
Old. He's so old school, man. He can't wrap his brain around that colubrids don't eat in the wintertime. He's like, no, man, I got to feed it every week. I said, Dad, no, you don't. You're But this snake has been from the NARBC from when
they used to
came to Philadelphia. That's how old the snake is. So I'm starting to think do I have this wrong? He keeps it outside in the summertime, so he keeps it outside. He's feeding it every dude. The thing is so freaking big.
I mean, it's probably the biggest California king snake I've ever seen. But
so big. I'm like, Dad, you're gonna kill that snake. He's like, you don't know anything about
apparently
snakes.
I don't.
You stick to those. What do you call them? Crapping pythons. I'm like, not you too.
You get out of Collierwood land. All right.
Have you been talking to Scott? No, those crappets. God damn it.
Oh God.
But anyway.
Yep.
All right. I think our next show is The Art of Keeping Snakes. Maybe we should push that back an episode. Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll work on a couple other episodes. Okay. Maybe we'll do a natural history episode. Yeah. And I think Keith is getting together, Richard Ross and Keith,
Dr.
in the
Ross.
Patreon chat.
Yeah.
For next
That'll
month.
be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That will be fun.
So all the Patreons that love and support us
get to speak with Keith McPeak and Dr. Ross and us two
and
idiots.
For the yes. Yeah. And for those who don't know who Richard Ross is, first of all,
Smack
shame
yourselves.
on you.
I don't understand what you're doing. Yeah.
Second of all, there's a book called The Blue Bible, and it's called The Keeping and Breeding. Wait a minute. What is it?
Hold on.
The Reproduction of Boas and Pythons.
Oh, God.
I got it already, Owen.
You already got it? Yeah, it's the reproduction.
Yeah.
Reproductive
husbandry
of boas and pythons. Yeah.
Yes.
Pythons and boas. Do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, pythons are first. Come on, man.
Yeah, nobody. Reproductive husbandry of boa.
Boas.
They just.
Who does boas?
They just have live babies. Who cares?
Dude, I don't know, man. I'm listening to boas, and they work with those obscure boas like
I can't.
The Jamaicans and the.
No, it's dangerous. That's dangerous.
The good thing about it is that they're they just give them away.
I know.
They can't sell them. That's right in your wheelhouse, man.
Dude, I'm already
Jamaican boas.
I'm already looking at Argentines, and I'm like, God, I want them. It's a giant black pissed off boa constrictor. Yes.
Yes.
Sign me up.
Curtin has them,
yep,
right?
Curtin has them. Keith has them.
Okay.
Travis has them, and I'm just chomping at the bit for one.
And Owen does not.
Goddamn litter.
Damn it! I know a certain guy that I kind of feel that way about rough scales. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what goes on in there.
Anyhow, that's what's coming up. I know that the Carpet Cliff Notes is behind a week, but it should be dropping this. Well, I don't know. We're so far ahead of MPR, I can't keep track. So I'm not going to stop. I'm going to stop talking about that stuff because I'm editing the last show we did in 2022 with Ryan, and then I had to take out the whole beginning of it because we're talking about we're getting the calendars together. I'm like,
oh,
this
shit,
is stupid. Clearly, we didn't think of that. So we're from like a 2-hour episode to an hour and a half because like a big chunk of what we were talking about at the beginning I had to take out. Sense. Yeah. I wonder who the winners are.
Great.
You know, like that kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, well, we didn't plan that one out.
Yeah.
Anyway, for us, follow all the podcasts on the network. Make sure I have the link for Travis Wyman. He was on Carpets and Coffees. He was talking about his wife, and she needs a kidney transplant. And there was, he reached out to see if anybody could be a match, and there's a whole process you have to go through. I put the link to everything in the show notes, so if you want to go and check it out and click on it, you can do that, and then you can get in touch with Travis. I'm going to put his little the little talk he gave about it. I'll put it at the end of the episode so people can check it out.
Yeah.
If they want to listen to it, but it's back there on Carpets and Coffee 71, the last one we did. With Travis. Yeah. So you can go and listen to it there. I know he's on THP and all that stuff. So, our thoughts go out to him and his family, and hopefully he can find a match.
Yeah, and even if you're not a match for his wife, you might be a match for somebody else that if you're willing to donate.
That was pretty interesting that they were like, they start a whole circle.
Yeah, they start a whole circle that it can eventually come back to Travis's wife. That, or even if it doesn't end up back at Travis's wife, she gets moved right up to the top of the list because somebody donated a kidney in her name. So Travis is currently working on doing just that for himself. There is a lot of testing and stuff, and he did say this it's anonymous. So if you do end up deciding not to do it, there's nothing.
Yeah, you get like $10,000 worth of tests,
medical care, like CAT scans and all that.
How healthy you are, or how unhealthy you are.
What do you say? If you ever wanted a free, like, complete body scan, here you go.
Right. So be sure to check that out. MoreliaPythonRadio.com. Like I said, right now we're sort of working on putting that together, some more carpet focused. I'm trying to think, what else am I forgetting? If you want to get in touch with us, info@MoreliaPythonRadio.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have a Patreon, all that kind of stuff. If you're interested, you can check it out all from the website. And then we also, I know this is MPR, but Carpets and Coffee, we do the cold-blooded caffeine. So if you're into coffee, check it out. I think he's going to send us another...
Yes. Thank God. I'm running a little low.
He's gonna, he's gonna send us out another batch of stuff. But I think I might try something different. You know what I mean? Just to try it.
It's great coffee. I've been drinking it, and I actually brewed it cold.
Oh, it's fabulous.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I don't know why Chris Behoff is calling me.
Right now?
Yeah.
How dare he? He's doing it to me now, too. I'm just going to decline. That was probably...
I think he's like... He just kept doing it.
It's probably a mistake. One would hope.
Don't you find it awful weird that he...
Yeah, it is kind of odd. Yeah.
Calls me and then calls you?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Weird.
It seems kind of weird that I would accidentally...
Pocket dial. There it is. Yeah, good for him.
Okay, there we go. All right, so there's that. I think I hit on everything. Oh, anyway, Cold Blood Caffeine. We do have a referral link. It'll be in the show notes. So if you want to go over and check it out, you can check it from there. We get a little kickback from that. But if you use the code MPR, you'll get 10% off your order. They do local shows and stuff too, so you might want to go on their website and check out what shows they're going to be at.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Trey's a real good guy. And we're going to do a giveaway on Carpets and Coffee. So if you haven't listened to Carpets and Coffee, it's kind of a live hangout that we do. Yeah. On Fridays, every other Friday. So you can go over there. And I think he's going to come on and maybe talk about cold-blooded caffeine a little bit.
Dude, I'm interested to know about that kind of shit. Like, I want to know how he figured that 100%. Out. Like, tell me where my coffee comes from, damn it.
him and his partner just went into business, and I think he's the reptile guy, and his partner is more of the business guy, but they're into to coffee.
We should have done coffee instead of a podcast. God damn it.
Damn it. No, it's not too.
It is too late. It is
never
far
say never.
Too late.
We have too many things on our plate. We can't
go on. We can't start a coffee business.
Yes.
We still have to get a facility. No. Yeah.
I would drink all of the profits.
That is the other problem. That is the other issue. Yes.
Me and Jim, we would drink all the profits.
I already want to get him a bag for himself so that he can sit there and be like, yes.
My son has
coffee.
His own
No, he doesn't.
coffee.
That's not true, Dad. Like that's
not how it works, Dad.
That works, but okay. Yeah.
But I've been telling all my friends that I'm so proud of you.
That. Thank you. Yeah.
Very good. That's all I have.
That's all I got. I mean, that's it for this week. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll catch everybody back here next week for some more Morelia Python Radio. Good night.